Hello, Dr. Childress here. So we've discussed your goal, cleansing the mental health system of its infection by the pathogen, and the focal target of your actions, the recovery from the pathogen of the position statement of the APA regarding parental alienation. We want this position statement of the APA to formally pierce the pathogen's veil of concealment by identifying that the pathogen exists, in whatever name the APA wishes to use: attachment-based parental alienation, pathogenic parenting, role reversal relationship, the transgenerational transmission of attachment trauma through its reenactment in current family relationships, or just the plain term parental alienation in quotes. We don't care, as long as they formally acknowledge that the parental alienation pathogen exists. We also want formal recognition of your children and families as a special population requiring specialized knowledge and expertise to competently assess, diagnose, and treat. We want the APA to voluntarily withdraw its binding sites of ignorance. We've discussed your two primary strategies: the direct frontal assault on the binding sites of ignorance that the pathogen uses to infect and disable the mental health response to the pathogen, and the assault on the APA of letter writing, emails, advocacy, and generating massive amounts of media attention. The direct assault on the binding sites of ignorance will also protect your allies in mental health, who have the courage to stand up for you and your child, and in doing so, provoke the retaliation of the narcissistic borderline parent by making the diagnosis of child psychological abuse confirmed. By filing these board complaints against the binding sites of ignorance and referencing foundations as the supporting grounds for your complaint, you'll be forcing the licensing boards to become knowledgeable about an attachment-based model of parental alienation, so that when the narcissistic borderline parent files a retaliatory board complaint against your ally, the licensing board will already be educated and will already be knowledgeable about the foundation's defense that's offered by your ally. We've discussed the need for you to generate as much media attention as possible, and to prevent the media from trying to present both sides as if there were two sides. There are no sides. There is only the child side. We are all on the child side. Us, the APA, therapists, the legal system, everybody. We're all on the same side, the child side. Splitting into polarized positions is a manifestation of the splitting dynamic, which is a sure indication that the pathogen has infected the discussion. There are no sides. By generating as much media attention as possible, you're also acting to outreach to the adult survivors of childhood alienation who remain estranged from their authentic parents. As you move forward, you'll need to develop a system for inviting these adult children to contact other recovered survivors of childhood alienation who can help facilitate the recovery of these adult children of alienation. We've discussed the need to avoid Gardnerian PAS. The Gardnerian PAS model has been compromised by the defensive memes of the pathogen. The Gardnerian PAS model has already been infected and deactivated by the defensive meme structures of the pathogen. The Gardnerian PAS model does not activate standards 2.01 and standard 2.04 or 3.04 of the APA Ethics Code. All of the criticisms of parental alienation are directed toward the Gardnerian PAS model. If you try to use the Gardnerian PAS model, you'll get bogged down in the stale, endless, unproductive, and completely unnecessary and pointless arguments and counter-arguments of the past 30 years. If you use a Gardnerian PAS model, you will lose all of your power, and the pathogen will eat you for breakfast and feast on your liver. There will be no Gardnerian banner on this battlefield. If you bring a Gardnerian banner onto the battlefield, I'll attack you myself, because you risk infecting the movement with the pathogen's defenses that have already infected and disabled the Gardnerian paradigm. Your adversary is the pathogen, but your enemy is ignorance. You cannot fight ignorance by being ignorant. You will not have to directly educate mental health. It's their obligation to educate themselves, or else face a licensing board complaint for being ignorant and incompetent based on APA Standard 2.10. But neither can you be ignorant yourself, not for this fight. You must use the professional words of power I've given you in Foundations as your grounds for the licensing board complaint. Trauma reenactment, role reversal relationship, using the child as a regulatory object for the pathology of the narcissistic borderline parent, cross-generational coalition, splitting, excessive displays of parental retrieval behaviors on visitations with you. You'll be on firm scientific and professional grounds in making these allegations to the licensing board, and you'll be forcing the licensing board to become knowledgeable about an attachment-based model of parental alienation, which will then protect your ally when the narcissistic borderline parent files a retaliatory licensing board complaint against them for making the diagnosis of child psychological abuse confirmed. And you'll be putting increasing pressure on the APA to provide guidance to the licensing boards through a revision of the APA position statement. You cannot fight ignorance by being ignorant. You must read Foundations and use the professional words of power in a coherent way when filing your board complaints. You must also be able to coherently describe the pathogen and the pathology to the media to generate media attention. This is new. In what way? Why is this new? Why isn't this the same as Gardnerian PAS? Why are the criticisms of Gardnerian PAS not relevant to an attachment-based model? You're fighting for your children. Bring your A game. Don't be lazy. Don't be ignorant. This is your fight. These are your children. You are their authentic parents, and your children need you to rescue them from the pathogen. The battlefield's been cleared of all the former criticisms of parental alienation. They are all made irrelevant by an attachment-based model. You have staunch and steadfast allies on this battlefield. On this battlefield, you'll see my banner front and center. You'll see the banners of Dorsey Pruder, Brian Ludmer, and I call on all your other allies to join us. Bring your banners to this battle, but you cannot march and fight under the banner of Gardnerian PAS. The time for sitting on the fence is over. The fight for mental health has arrived, and the battle flag is that of an attachment-based model. You see the plans, you see the strategy. Join us under the banner of Foundations and add your professional voice and power to our cause. We need all the voices we can muster. We need your voice. If you stay home now, at this important time, because you will not give up the banner of Gardnerian PAS, the absence of your banner on the battlefield will be noted by the thousands of authentic parents who engage in a fight to rescue and recover their children. We need your voice and the power that that voice brings. Now, to you, your children's authentic parents, we don't want to hurt anyone. Take no pleasure in causing pain to the binding sites of ignorance. Therapists enter this field because they want to help. They want to heal. We want to give the binding sites of ignorance every opportunity to become knowledgeable and to show competence, or to leave the battlefield if it becomes too dangerous for them. We don't want to hurt anyone. But neither will we continue to tolerate professional ignorance and incompetence that destroys the lives of your children and your family. It stops now. Standard 2.01 of the APA Ethics Codes mandates professional competence. Professional competence is not a suggested professional practice. It is a required professional obligation. We don't want to fight. We want a negotiated solution. Our goal is not victory. Our goal is to unite mental health into a single voice. There are no sides. There is only one side, the child side. We are all on the same side, but we will no longer abandon your children to the psychological abuse of parental alienation. On that, there is no compromise. Be nice, be kind, be relentless in exposing the pathogen and piercing the veil of concealment that hides the pathogen. Do not be distracted. Expose the pathogen. This is the most malignant, vicious, and dangerous psychological pathogen I've ever encountered. You will need all of your power and firm resolution of purpose. Come together. Amplify your power. Alone you are one. United you are an unstoppable force. You are stronger than you know. Let's go get your children back.